Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the Sun, Sextile, or Trine Jupiter in Synastry. Now, the basic character, which is the Sun, and what the Jupiter person is enthusiastic and optimistic about, can be in harmony. Now, the Sun person may easily take action to help the Jupiter person expand horizons. Let's say, if Jupiter person has their Jupiter in Aquarius, and those horizons, so to speak, may be connected with astrology, astronomy, computers, electronics, aviation, innovation, meteorology, as some examples. The Jupiter person can readily express benevolence and goodwill toward the Sun person and bring joy, hope, and optimism into that Sun person's life. The thing about this, the Jupiter, person can also help the Sun person, really expand their creative expression. If the person has the Sun in Cancer, it might be through some home decoration, through that creative expression, through some home remodeling, renovation, or, something creative through like, cooking, culinary work, as some examples. And the thing too is, the Sun person can easily focus on the beliefs and philosophies of the Jupiter person, with little distractions or diversions. And if the Jupiter is in Capricorn, say, those beliefs and philosophies, can be very, as an example, can be very orthodox and conventional. Jupiter in Aquarius might have very eclectic, unorthodox, unconventional philosophies and beliefs. The thing too. The Sun person, will often have, that vitality and energy to assist the Jupiter person with Jupiterian matters, which can include, publishing, advertising, sports, adventure. It could be outdoor activities, which could include sports, but it could be something like with camping, or just it could be work, just general work in the outdoors. And the Sun person, is generally going to be confident, and you have, in this connection, and you have the Jupiter person, optimism, that could, play huge dividends in, making projects. You're working on projects, endeavors together, collaborate. It could be collaborating, on, just on projects, just whatever it might be. And the Jupiter person can bring, that exuberance to what the Sun person wants, and give that, the Jupiter person may inject a lot of hope and optimism into the Sun person attaining what he or she wants. If the Sun person has their Sun in Gemini, it could be something, connected, with communication in general. It could be, some, position in communications, whether it could be data, satellite communications, journalism, reporting, or something associated with manual dexterity, such as auto or refrigeration mechanics. And the thing too is, but really, I mean, this is, naturally very, fortuitous aspect when you have Jupiter in a positive aspect in general. In Synastry, it can be very auspicious and positive because Jupiter is the planet of luck and fortune. The Sun person, I should say, the Jupiter person can often forgive the Sun person, for his or her actions, and not, hold, grudges, be vengeful or vindictive. If the Sun person has their Sun in Aries, those actions can be ones that could be abrupt or, impulsive, sometimes even volatile. as an example, but the Jupiter person can readily be, forgiving of the Sun person. And this is an aspect which is just, very one which can be, prosperity. I would say more with the Sun. Jupiter is the planet of prosperity, and that Jupiter person, can help that Sun person, attain what they want and be prosperous at the the same time. But at the same time, the Sun person can put that focus and attention on the Jupiter person, perhaps attaining certain prosperity, I would say, as well as how this synastry aspect can manifest. Now, as I've stated in previous videos, one synastry aspect does not make, relationship or connection. It's really, when you have in synastry charts, you're going to naturally have a plethora of aspects, that exist between person A and person B, and you have to look at all of them. As I stated in my previous videos, when I was talking about natal chart, aspects and placements, what have you, you can't, isolate any single one, planetary placement, aspect, position, or what have you, and make an analysis of a chart on it, because the person is the sum of other components in your natal chart, not just one. And the same applies when you're talking about synastry aspects. You could have, somebody could have, the Sun sextile or trine Jupiter in synastry, but they could have other things that might not always be working to their advantage. If you have for example, you have somebody's Saturn making the same person that has the same two people that have the Sun sextile or trine Jupiter in synastry. If they have the Saturn, say, square or opposition Venus in synastry, the Saturn person might take some kind of toll on that person's finances, and there could be something with the Saturn person may have some difficulties, which is causing the Venus person, it could be it might be affecting their monetary situation, to their detriment. And the Saturn person might be causing some limitation on the person's finance. Even Saturn conjunct Venus in synastry, the Saturn person may limit the person's monetary situation somehow. So you have to look at all the aspects and in synastry. And even Saturn adverse Venus in synastry, Saturn person can have a negative effect on the Venus person's self-worth. So in this case, even though you have the Sun sextile trine Jupiter in synastry, which could be very positive for joviality and optimism and humor with the two people, you still have to look at all the aspects in synastry to make really just see the whole picture. And also one adverse aspect, of course, doesn't make a synastry relationship in astrology either. But overall, by itself, this aspect can be very good and fruitful, and one that can be one where it can have prosperity and affluence and a lot of hope and optimism. And the Jupiter person can certainly add a lot of humor and joy and optimism to that Sun person's life, and especially advantageous to the Sun person. If the Sun person is somewhat downtrodden, or they're in some negative adverse situation in their life, the Jupiter person can often be there to help the the Sun person get through those the rough period during tribulation or adversity or whatever problem they may be facing. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.